For this overview for week 3, what we're going to focus on is key web metrics to analyze during consumer shopping behavior, the importance of analyzing sales promotions and marketing campaigns, evaluating the significance of the metric CLV or customer lifetime value, and the importance of the web metric in consumer behavior of sales conversion. As always, live sessions are going to be recorded for you to review at your leisure. So understanding consumer behavior with web analytics, consumer behavior courses are out there to talk about consumer behavior theory, the purchase decision patterns, all that. But how do you tie that into web analytics? Well, a quote from websitemagazine.com says, while many retailers and their designers spend considerable time worrying about aesthetic considerations, making the website look appealing, what they should focus on instead is their data. Properly used data can result in drastic improvements in user experiences. The first is top-shelf customer service. The second is focusing on data, using it to understand their customers' needs and building their website around that understanding. What happens a lot of the time is on a website design, website creative, they're looking at things from what the company believes customers want to see or what they believe is the right message and marketing technique. Using the data, web insights can definitely help understand consumer behavior and what customers truly want to see on a website. So analyzing customer behavior, those trends of traffic, bounces, where they're going on the website, all that will help the creative team and design team truly build a website experience. So it needs to start there and then define the creative and marketing content of a website after that. So when you're trying to understand consumer behavior with web analytics, there's some questions to try to understand that consumer behavior. How did your customers arrive? What are your visitors looking for? Where are customers landing, bouncing, and viewing? And what are your website's trends over time? Basically, where is people spending their interaction the most on your website? And then what on that website, on those pages, is appealing to them? Is what content, what experience overall? If it's shopping related, are they able to find their products? Do you have the right categorization? Do you have the right marketing content in general for a great UX experience? So let's talk about each of these further. How did your customers arrive? It's important to understand where a customer came from to visit a website. So that's why when Google Analytics, you go in there and under sources, you can find out where they've come from. Do they come from a social media campaign, outbound marketing, such as emails, web ads, or search engine optimization or SEM techniques, or other website referrals? What this does, it tells you, first off, again, where's your advertising working, like we talked about last week, what campaigns are working, and how can you optimize or strengthen those channels from where they came from. It also helps you target those audiences better on your website too. Once they land on your website, you want to ensure that experience from where they came from, the source or where they came from, also matches that experience on the website. What really doesn't work is a website experience that is different from the marketing element that brought them in. You have to make sure it's a unified experience. So obviously, why is this important? The more we know where our customers come from, the better we can market on those channels and increase acquisition and retention efforts. And retention is key. Acquiring is great, but to build customer lifetime value and loyalty, you need to develop methods to retain them. So again, looking at Google Analytics, your path for this, and this is what you can do in your demo account, and obviously it's covered in your training, is you go to path. The path, is under the far left side, acquisition, all traffic, channels, tree map, and source medium. Each of those represents similar insights, but channels will truly be social versus email, the high-level channels. Source medium is going to be more specific. What type of email? What type of social media? So source medium could be, again, where the type where it came from, Facebook, Twitter, all that. Number 2, understanding consumer behavior with web analytics. What are visitors looking for? So on the website, there's so many different ways customers or users can interact with your website and to seek what they're looking for and discover and explore. On-site search. On-site search is very important. It's one of the number one used places in a lot of industries, especially in retail, where customers go to find what they're looking for. Other websites as well. People would rather go directly to an on-site search, type in the keywords what they're looking for, and ensure that the results are what, trying to find what they're looking for based on the results that populate from that on-site search. It's used a lot more in many industries. Because people's need of gratification is quick, right? It's immediate, it's on demand. So trying to navigate and click around, a lot of people at times don't have the patience for that, nor does the navigation always reveal their exact results they're looking for. So on-site search analysis is important, right? Same goes for SEO, very similar, but the difference is this is directly on your website, directly the results that populate based on your categorization, your keywords, your metadata, all that stuff that's tied into your website. Your job as the analyst is to look at both successful and failed searches. Now, successful to look at about how many times a certain keyword or set of words or search terms are looked for. It helps you understand what's popular on a website, what people are looking at the most. And in return with that information, what you can do is ensure that where they're landing on those web pages from those search results that are successful have a good content, a good experience, so that it drives, what customers are looking for to the right place. Failed search are search terms that are things they can't find on your website. Perhaps it's not available. Perhaps you don't have an optimized on-site search engine to where you need to pivot and monitor and create a better experience with keywords or variations of keywords. People misspell words. People, like for example, Apple AirPod, right? AirPod could be one word to some people or two words. So you want to make sure that the same set of results for AirPods, both Air and Pod split or put together, produce similar results. So it's a lot about continuously optimizing that chance for, getting that customer to the right area and then converting. Okay. So on-site search, very important. Visits and abandonment rate. This we talked about before, but it's obviously you got to look at how many people are visiting, but also leaving various parts of your website, right? But also who don't just bounce and leave immediately. It's also who sticks on a particular page of your website and doesn't and abandons their session over a period of time. In that, perhaps the experience isn't good enough to where the content, whatever they're looking for, the website experience is driving them to convert and finish their experience. Navigation and taxonomy. This is all about how things are categorized, right? This is about the drop-down menus. This is about in retail, your different categories of products. Let's say you're Target or Walmart, it's the difference between clothing and electronics and outdoor goods. If you're a different website based on content, perhaps you have different pillars of content you're looking for. So this is all about how you drive people to click around and browse. What you do with that is you look at the pathy analysis, right? You look at where they started and where they ended their session or their experience. How many pages did they visit? What pages did they visit? How many clicks did it take for them to get to that ultimate goal of getting them to convert into whatever you're trying them to do, or finish their experience with whatever you're trying them to do? It's all about the less clicks as well on certain aspects. There's always plenty of studies on consumer behavior in online and digital that less clicks the better, right? So you want to optimize that experience to get to the amount of clicks that makes sense, but not too many to where customers just don't, users don't get overwhelmed, confused, or frustrated at the end of the day. So again, on-site search, common company mistakes. So when we talked about on-site search, it's very important that you understand how important this is, that companies today still don't have it down to its perfection. Now, a lot of companies do it well. I will applaud Amazon for doing it well. But some businesses don't always understand the capabilities they have to make on-site search more successful. For one, they neglect mobile. What I mean by that is, the more and more users that go on mobile now, the more they're going to search, because it's pretty straightforward. Even on desktop, they search more than they do browse. Well, on mobile, it's the experience. Is your search bar big enough? Is it scrollable for the results? Can you actually see what you're looking at, right? So that's part of it. The next thing that often are company mistakes, and this is what you can do as an analyst, by the way, is analyze the behavior of the search engine on your website, both successful and failed search, but also the results that populate, what behavior takes place after on-site search, so you can help optimize these mistakes and work with your team on this. They get too clever with the search box. Sometimes you put too many results in a certain keyword, or getting too clever. Sometimes you overthink as a company what are the words people are going to put in there. So keep it basic, keep it straightforward, but don't overcomplicate it, if that makes sense. You don't want too many search results to where it does still overwhelm the customer. You want the right stuff to populate. You don't want too much, because too much to scroll through page after page after page, as we all know, can be very cumbersome. And most people only look at the first 1 or 2 pages anyways in a search results set. That's where the next one makes sense. Search results are too low. You don't have enough of an assortment. You don't have enough to keep them interested, or enough for them to actually know what they're looking for. Now, results not found. Now, this is something you can't control if you don't have truly available the content or the product or whatever you're doing on your website to give them results. But you can go back to and make action with that. For example, in retail or in sales or some website where you sell a product or service. For example, if my company did not sell AirPods, we do, but if we did not, we would have all these search results for AirPods, and I could take that back to the buying team and say, look, this is in demand. Why? Because we're getting hundreds of results for AirPods that are failed with no results. What customers are looking for. Can you go try to find a way and buy it? So that helps. That's one example where you can take the insights and drive action with it. Build it and forget it, but always optimize. So the thing is, there's times where a company, updates their website or launches a new website. They get their search engine out there, but they don't pay attention to it. They don't look at the results. They don't analyze it, period. Always optimize, always strengthen your keywords, always look for predictive search type capabilities, understand behavior, build algorithms, whatever you can to optimize it. And then companies should not offer a one-size-fits-all approach, in that customer behavior is different based on category, based on industry. So a one-size does not fit all for all websites. Make sure you tailor and customize your search engine to fit the needs of your user and customer. On-site search. When you're in Google Analytics, where you can go with this is the path you would take is on the left side, you go to behavior, overview, usage, search terms, then search pages. You would drill down to that. So again, when you're in your Google Analytics demo account or suite, on the left side there on the pillar of options, on the main menu, you have behavior. Go to overview, usage, search terms, and search pages. If your website's tagged correctly, you can see what people are searching for. So you can definitely look at what are the key search terms, the number of times it searches over a certain time period, and then the results, the search pages that end up in that search term. So leverage Google Analytics for your on-site search analysis. So how does on-site search, though, increase conversion? It's very significant. So a quote from Cluedo.com was, first off, we've said it before and we'll say it again, searches on your website are your customers directly telling you what they are looking for. So again, that aspect, that's directly telling you what they're looking for. These are low funnel buyers who typically know what they want, so they're more likely to produce greater ROIs. What they mean by low funnel buyers is they're not the ones navigating through the funnel, right? They're not clicking around doing a pathing. They want to direct, I want to search for this, I want to find it, and then if they find what they're looking for, they convert higher because they have a direct need. They have a direct idea of what they're looking for. In fact, conversion rates for site search users can be up to 50% higher than the average. A recent study found that website visitors who use the site search function converted at a 4.63% versus websites average of 2.77. That's almost twice as effective. So what that's saying is average website performances, and different studies say anywhere between 2.5 to 3.5%, right? A website conversion is, I always call it the golden rule of thumb, around 3%, okay? But out of that 3%, the ones who use on-site search do convert higher, okay? So the more robust you can increase your on-site search analytics, for those websites that have it, the better you're off you're going to be converting those customers. And I told you before, I believe that conversion is the golden metric, right? We all drive to conversion. The next metric that's very important to understand is cart abandonment. And you can see some insights here from 2006 to 2017. And then the overall abandonment rate, kind of industry website statistics that you see, a shopping cart abandonment. And in 2006, it was around 60% of shoppers who abandoned their cart. By 2017, the number has risen closer to 70. In the last couple of years, it's trended right around 70%. What that means is a lot of people who are passive shoppers, right? They add things to their cart. They abandon it, though they leave and they don't come back. And abandonment means, after a 30-minute session, most websites is 30 minutes, maybe it's an hour, depending on our website what you consider abandoned, but it means truly within 30 minutes usually. and that you add it to your cart, but you close your browser, you leave, but it's still in your cart on a website. And that's why you get those email abandonment cart emails is a strategy where you can look at, sending out a reminder, hey, this is in your cart. It looks like you left it there. Are you still interested in buying it? And those get sent out within, normally the best protocols, sometimes same day, sometimes 24 hours. Some companies do it up to a few days. It just depends on that strategy. But what you do with those analytics is to say, look, how do we reduce the abandonment cart? You want to get the people to get to the cart and then convert. There's a few things there with that. It's a shopping experience overall. Is the cart process easy to get through? Is there too many clicks to get through the checkout process? Is there a way to pre-fill in a lot of information for your customers and save it, like the address, shipping information, payment methods? Your job as a digital analyst is to analyze that behavior, right? Look at the overall abandonment rate, take it back to the website experience team, or if you're part of that team, and just make recommendations on how to streamline the shopping experience, right? Perhaps there's a promotion that people don't understand how much they're actually getting off on the price. A lot of the time, people use the cart to do the final math for them because they don't want to have to try to figure out on top of this promotional code and this discount and this percent off what that means. So, a lot of times just they use it for cost, but again, you can actually attract people to convert if you have a really good experience at the checkout. So, but just know this is industry, right? So if you're somewhere between 60 and 70%, you're not in a bad place. You're in line with industry, but how can you improve it to be better than your competition is what it's all about. Cart abandonment rates at a glance of industry. So I give you retail. Again, it's around that 72%, 70%. But other direct to consumer sites, fashion websites, more directly towards fashion, about 68. Travel, 81. A lot of the times here it's higher price points, right? Think about the fact that your flight has all these fees, your travel expenses, all that. You really want to know the final cost, and at times, you're not going to necessarily always know if you're going to want to make that purchase. So oftentimes people leave, right? It's a bigger decision to make a purchase for travel. Gaming a little around 64, finance 83%, and nonprofit 83%. Those are a little bit higher too because you're making very detailed decisions there too. So a lot of the times too depends on the decision level ability of the consumer and the decision making process they have to make. Cart abandonment rates added by device. So this is where it's important too to look at, okay, as a web analyst, where can I take the insights further? So we talked about, let's look at it by device. So perhaps your abandonment rate is higher on, for example, it is higher now on mobile versus desktop because again, mobile people use mobile a lot more to look at and browse and even add to cart, but they convert less, and they actually look like based on this statistic here, they abandon it higher because they're not comfortable making that final decision point, or some people are not based on the checkout process. Maybe on mobile, you need a mobile friendly experience, right? So it is lower on desktop. The global average is around 77%. So look at your company, look at your website, and compare the industry to by device type. Use Google Analytics, merge in, maybe a dimension or merge in a value that says, all right, our abandonment rates on average 75%, but out of that 75%, as an example, how is that split between devices, and how do we optimize those experiences per device type or per digital channel to make it better? All right, the third thing we talked about, understanding consumer behavior and with web analytics. Where are customers landing, bouncing, and viewing? So again, those metrics we talked about before. In that funnel, the visits, the page views, the bounce rate, it is important to understand where on a website customers are visiting, landing, and then leaving. This helps digital marketers understand how to optimize the website by looking at enhancing the experience on those pages. They have a lot of traffic, but also have a lot of evidence of people leaving. Finding methods to keep them, quote unquote, in the store to sales conversion is critical. You don't want people leaving your site as much as they are. Now, it's natural behavior that there's going to be always people coming and going. That's natural. It's just like in real life. You walk into a store, you walk into a business, you're going to browse at times. You're not always going to go in with the purchase in mind, but what you can do is work in all the experience metrics to understand how to optimize it. Some more industry benchmarks, right, around bounce rate. So I shared this before, but while we're on the topic, e-commerce and retail sites between 20 and 45, B2B 25 to 55, and other sites down below. We talked about this the other week, but again, I just want to share one more time. How does your industry compare to these? And now even more of a deeper dive by industry. So now I want to take it a step further and talk about very specific type of industries out there, right? And where they stack up. Food and drink, science, reference, websites around, books, arts and entertainment. I mean, think about, just content you want to review and read about. Here's the bounce rate for each of these different industries from highest to lowest. And think to yourself, if I work in this industry or if I'm a consumer of this industry, perhaps why is that bounce rate is what it is. Okay. So obviously we're not in a class discussion. This would be the point where if we were able to discuss it, I'd share this with you. But again, just think about to yourself, describe a shopping experience you've had as a consumer. What made you leave the website? Think about it for a moment. What is it about a shopping experience you had that made you leave? What was it? Not the right content? Was it too confusing to check out? What was it? And what could that have been done better? And what would you have recommended to improve that? So something to think about. All right, take a little bit of a pivot here. Now let's talk about web promotions, okay? Key metrics and performance analytics around promotions. Website promotion analytics, okay? We're getting all the time sent to us as consumers, advertisements, promotions, all right? This is where you're going to kind of take your web insights, web metrics, mindset, digital metrics, and converge that with traditional financial metrics. This is where you take the ability to be a strong analyst and take both engagement and financial metrics and merge them together. I think the first week I mentioned to you, you're not the financial analyst team, but you can influence the financial budget. You can influence the financial viewpoint of website behavior and web behavior based on a lot of promotions. So key web metrics to keep in mind, KPIs, are average order value, sales conversion, baseline sales, incremental sales, promotional margin, and return on investment. If you're a web analyst, most of the time you're going to be in charge of also the financial promotional insights of your website. One of the most important web metrics when it comes to sales promotions and understanding the health of your sales mix in retail is average order value. To calculate this, you take the overall total revenue or sales and divide that by the total number of orders. So for example, in a month of September, as an example, you had a monthly total sales of your website of $31,000 and a total order amount of 1,000 orders. Simply divide 31,000 divided by 1,000, and your average order value, or AOV, is $31. This is important to understand to evaluate the value of the basket and potential revenue per customer based on the average order value over a period of time. What this means is that you take the order value and what is, how do we increase that basket mix? How do we get customers to add on more product, right, to what they're buying? There's various strategies with this you can take. You can say, I want to look at accessories for certain products. How do I provide a product recommendation at checkout or during the shopping process to add on more products? We all seen those you may also like or recommended for you. That's the AOV metric that's being measured against, is those recommended upsells or cross sales, right? How do you get to add more to that? So you look at a trend over time for your website and say, how do I make $31 increase to 35 or 40 or whatever that means based on your business? How do I look at my email blasts and outbound marketing strategies and say, I need to add on other products to merchandise and market so I can add on that extra value? So it's all about the add-on approach and overall strength of your order value in your basket. The next is sales conversion. This is straightforward. We've talked about conversion before. New conversion rates are the percentage of prospective customers who take a specific action that you want. For example, the following are specific conversion rates that an organization may track. Percentage of website visitors who fill out a form, call your company, or purchase something. Again, conversion and sales is all about sales, but a conversion can be any other action you want them to take. This is important to understand as a digital marketer because it's a health metric on evaluating the overall performance of measuring how successful your website is in capturing the sales on the traffic visits coming to the website. All right, now the big thing about website sales promotions, again, imagine you're an analyst and you're helping the marketing team on sales promotions, right? Product promotions, percent off this, discount that. Well, you want to understand the baseline sales versus the incremental sales. Baseline sales is your average sales trend off promotion. It's when you have a regular sales trend of product over a period of time, how much you sell in a given week, month, day, whatever timeline you're looking at. That's your baseline sales. This is without the extra marketing campaign, the extra attention to it on your website, whatever it is. It's just on average every day what we sell. That's baseline. Incremental is when you maximize your profitability, and it's what you do to increase sales with a marketing campaign, giving exposure to that promotion, really pushing that out in social media, pushing that out there on your homepage, whatever that means, right? An email blast. Your incremental sales is what that is. So you take your baseline and your incremental, okay? Your incremental is the delta between your baseline sales and your incremental. What that means is, let's say, for example, in a given week off promotion, the products do $1,000, right? Every day without any marketing exposure, just in general day in and day out sales, people find it, and you sell $1,000 in a product. Well, let's say the next week you went and did 20% off that product, and the next week you did $1,500 in sales. You increase your sales from 1,000 on an average week to $1,500 in a week. Well, your incremental sales is $500. The promotional value of that campaign or that promotion is $500. Even though you got to $1,500, you have to subtract the difference between what you did on promotion versus off promotion, or on a marketing campaign versus off marketing campaign. I don't think promotion always has to be at a percent discount, okay, or a discounted rate. We think promotion all the time as giving more away to the customer as far as a discounted price or whatever. Promotion can also just truly mean exposure to the regular price of a product or service, right? You're just giving it more marketing appeal. So it's that incremental sales is the difference between when it's on promotion or marketing and off. Why that's important is you understand the value of it, right? How successful was it? Take those insights and draw that into recommendations to say, we increase sales by or profitability by X percent or dollar value. Maybe you guys can look at doing something different if it wasn't as high as expected. There was a goal, we didn't hit it, whatever. So again, just take a look at this as an example of what this means. So a website promotion is an above and beyond additional markdown or discount, generally to a product or service. The promotion should drive the above and beyond incremental sales of the regular trend. So I already gave you an example before, but let's go through this one. For example, if a particular model TV sold for $1,000 on average on a week, right, then the baseline sales for that TV is $1,000 a week, all right? If the website retailer decided to put that on promotion at 10% off for a week and sold $1,200 that week on that TV model on promotion, then the incremental sales is $200, right? So if we sold $1,000 on an average week of a particular model TV and the X number of units, then we had it on promotion, the incremental lift is 20%, $200 or 20%. Now, profitability is what it's all about. You have to understand your margin and ROI. To calculate your return on investment for the campaign, you subtract your sales promotion by total cost of your gross profits, dividing that number by your sales promotion cost, and then multiplying that number by 100 to get a percentage. So, for example, if total sales from a campaign or promotion was $10,000, but the profit from the sales was only 10% due to the cost of goods, then the final profit from the campaign was $1,000, okay? So profit dollars made in campaign was $1,000. Now, perhaps your marketing cost to conduct the campaign was $500. This is where you get to your net promotional margin ROI. So go back to the beginning. If you made $10,000 in sales, but the profit was only 10%, okay, then the final profit made is $1,000. It's truly just sales and cost of goods. You have a 10% margin. You made $1,000 in profit. So right there is just profit, okay? But then if you add the expense of the marketing campaign behind it, let's say you spent $500 to generate that $10,000 in sales, you spent $500 in your campaign or marketing effort, and it generated that $1,000 in profit, you actually need to take the net of that, okay? And your true net ROI is $500 because you have to subtract the spend, the costs for the marketing, all right? This is very important for net margin calculation. It's a very straightforward calculation, but you want to analyze it over time because your marketing budget is determined how much you bring back to the company. So again, even though you made $1,000 in profit, if you spend $500 to get that sales, to make that profit, then you're actually costing money to make money. So you always want to make sure you're positive in whatever promotional goal that you have. All the time out there, we look at a lot of different types of campaigns and promotions, right? One is deal of the day or flash sale. A lot of these day in, day out quick deals, right? On Amazon, they're called lightning deals or whatever. There's a lot of key reasons why this is important to analyze and look at the impact on a regular basis because they are so quick. Promotional rationale and justification. So a lot of the times these offers are limited. They're limited time offers. A flash sale could be a day, it could be a couple days. A deal of the day is truly a day. The reason why this is a great promotional vehicle for website is because it drives the ability to go through overstock items. They need to liquidate a product and get through it quickly. They can do that and be aggressive with their promotion, right? Something called loss leaders, right? Sometimes you sell something under cost. So let's say, for example, going back to that last example, let's say something cost $500 to the company. We sell it for $400 though, just to get rid of it. So we are going to look at also the AOV. What I mean by that is just because we have something on promotion at a loss leader below cost, and it's not going to be a profit driver, perhaps that TV is going to engage to buy other things. So I talk about optimizing the basket analysis. You have a loss leader, something on a big promotion to drive traffic to your website and excitement, but perhaps you're driving other items to that. So just because I saw that deal of the day and that great TV at a low price, well, I got to the website, perhaps the add-on strategy, I went and bought other things to build the basket to build better profitability, right? But what you want to do is test and measure the work on the right day of the week. Was it the right time of the year to do it, based on seasonality, based on, whatever. Look at your promotional mix altogether. You have to understand and evaluate the total timeline, AOV, basket analysis to truly understand did this work or not as a flash sale or deal of the day. So what I just talked about was, straightforward day in and day out, quick daily deals. But then you have these annual events, right? So yeah, we have those quick deals of the day that you have to analyze quickly as a web analyst to optimize those opportunities. But then you have truly planned things. Now this was Prime Day from 2 years ago. So don't think that's Prime Day this year. It's July 16th. And in fact, here in 2020, they're looking at doing it in, I believe, in August. So disclaimer, this is from a previous year's deck PowerPoint that was made. But just so you know, events like Prime Day, you expect it to happen year round now. Cyber Monday, Cyber Week deals, right? Memorial Day sales, Labor Day weekend sales. These things are repeatedly happening in the retail industry and online shopping. You know to expect them. But what you do as an analyst is you look at what we're anniversarying. What sales are we anniversarying? What promotions did we do last year that we need to do again? It's very important to be on top of that and plan ahead because you want to be competitive, but you also want to know what you're up against in your own company, right? And obviously, to analyze your competition. What do they do, right? You have to be ensuring that if they did a big deal last year on Labor Day, do you need to match that or not, right? If you did a big Labor Day sale, for example, around mattresses or furniture, as an example, well, did it work or did it not? Does your promotion need to be bigger or do you need to do a different type of promotion? Those are things to consider. So on those annual events, always try to comp anniversary successful promotions. The health of your KPI rests on knowing how you performed last year and even the year before last, right? Always look at the year or the year before that. It's very important to anniversary what you've done to make sure you're successful again. But you can also be creative in how you market it. On the experience, optimize it though. So if you did well last year in something, find out ways to make it better. And it's very important from the analytics element for analyzing standard web holiday promotional events and asking, what are we up against from last year? And using your standard KPIs. In my experience in my industry of retail, I can tell you that not all the time do companies look at what they did last year in enough detail. They know what they ran. They know they did that big Apple promotion or North Face promotion, but they don't always look at all the KPIs to say, are we truly going to optimize it this year and do something different? That's why it's important to understand how to analyze annual events. Look at it ahead of time. Look at it in enough time to plan the inventory, plan the promotion, get everybody on board with it. Don't wait till a week before Black Friday. Get ahead of it. Start looking at it in June, July, August, as soon as possible to make your plans and make effective holiday promotions. So the analyst job in sales promotion, to kind of wrap it up, right? I kind of talked about this all tonight, but really what it means for the analyst in sales promotions is provide insight on the baseline sales trends. First off, let your marketers know and your merchandising teams know what is those sales trends in general. Partner with a marketing professional in charge of creating promotions and offer baseline sales input. In that, tell them you sell on average $1,000 a week in this product. What can we do to make that better on promotion? Offer promotional input and suggestion based on analytics. Tell them where customers are going on the website. Say, we need to offer a promotion on this page or that page. We need to offer this type of promotion. We see a a big need for people to get exposure to this category. So maybe, offer a promotion on this category to get more people exposed to it, right? Reveal more that's in the website that's not always known and top of mind for marketers. When promotion is live and in action, provide real-time performance measurement. Let's say you have a week-long campaign or week-long promotion. Every day, provide daily updates, or at least look at it yourself to see how's the trend. We talked about it before. Real-time measurement is the activity happening. If you wait till the end for the results, you can't go back and pivot your strategy midstream. And in digital, a lot of the times we have the capability of pivoting same-day action. When a promotional campaign is over, then provide those final results, the impact of the business, and recommendations for the future. So as a web analyst, a digital analyst on promotions, always give the KPIs, talk about the shortfalls, the opportunities for the future, and that's going to help you be successful in your career. For the last topic for this lecture today, what we're going to do is talk about one very important consumer behavior marketing metric, and that's customer lifetime value. So in Google Analytics, customer lifetime value, it's labeled as LTV. To find it, you go under audience. LTV is a new viewpoint. Lifetime value can be more than just dollars, though. It can be measured in multiple metrics: sessions, page views, and transactions. So where I'm going with this is customer lifetime value at its core, as you'll read about this week and as you'll study, as probably know, is you take a metric, and sales can be one thing, dollars, but it can be other things. The value of a customer over a life period of a metric, right? A lifetime is different for every company. You establish that based on what makes sense. Is it a year, 2 years, 10 years, 20 years? A lot of variables go into customer lifetime value and defining what the right metric is in a time period. But it's basically an evaluation of a current number times the amount of years you want to establish as that. So for example, calculating lifetime value. This is a case study example about Starbucks, okay? So Starbucks, as we all know, has loyal customers and lifelong customers, and they're able to calculate their lifetime value, right? So for example, they did a study. The very top there, customer expenditures per visit, or how much does a customer spend on average when they visit. So you got to take a sample size of customers first to get customer lifetime value. You can't assess it off one customer. You have to assess it on an average number of customers. You can take a sample size of 5, 10, 20, whatever makes sense, but you have to take an average of an amount of customers. So for this example, they looked at 5 different customers and 5 different amounts that they spent. Customer 1 spent $3.50, customer 2, $8.50, and you see it across the way. The average cost amongst 5 customers, as you saw, is $5.90. That is the average amount of money someone spends at Starbucks based on this analysis every time they visit. But now you have to look at how often they visit. So it's not just how much they spend, it's how frequent they spend too. That determines the frequency aspect, the purchase cycle. Customer 1 went 4 times a week, customer 2, 3 across the way. So the average customer goes 4 times a week and spends $5.90. With that said, if you look at the average customer value per week, you take that 4 times 5.2, it's a matter of $24.30 a week. If they spend $5.90 every time they go, and they visit about 4.2 times a week, the average value per week for one customer on average is $24.30. So the weekly lifetime value, the weekly value of a customer for Starbucks is $24. So then you take into consideration the constants, right? What do we know about this customer at Starbucks? The average customer lifetime span, well, in the case of Starbucks, they identified that the average customer lifetime span, a little customer is going to be there for 20 years. So what you do is you take that dollar value of $24 and some change times 4 weeks a month times 12 months, and then that's a 1-year value times 20 years. You know how to roll that up, right? That's your customer lifetime value, okay? Then there's other metrics to look at as well: customer retention rate, profit margin, rate of discount, average gross margin. So perhaps you want to look at profit margin as well. On average, every cup of coffee or every drink that they buy is around 21.3% margin per customer. We'll take that 21% of $24 a week, right? And 21.3% of $24 on average. Let me do the calculation right now on my phone. $24 divided by, call it 21.3% of that. On average, it's about $5. So they're making about a $5 profit every time someone, on an average per customer per week. So there's $5 a week in profit they're making. Multiply that by 52 weeks in a year. That's your average margin value. So customer lifetime value isn't just sales. Even though they're $24 a week, their weekly margin is about $5. So $5 times 52 weeks times 20 years, you can do that. So there are various ways to calculate CLV or customer lifetime value, but for the Starbucks example, it's as simple as this. There's 52 weeks in a year, right? The average customer value per week is $24.30. We'll call that value A. 20 years, we'll call that value T. So the formula is very simple for this piece of it, right? 52 weeks times an average order of $24.30 times 20 years. 52 weeks times $24.30. It's a 1 year times 20. You have a total customer lifetime value of $25,272. So what this is saying based on this analysis is that if Starbucks were to say, based on all my marketing efforts, based on acquiring that customer and keeping them retained as a customer and loyal, every customer will give us a 20-year return of $25,000 and $25,272. And then you want to take the profitability of that, take 21% of that, roughly, let's call it $5,000 or $6,000, but you can do the math. What is 21.3% of $25,272? That's the profit of that average customer. So on average, we're making about $5,000 in profit per customer as well. Well, with the thousands and millions of customers that shop Starbucks, it adds up, and then therefore you can go look at your lifetime value as a company. As long as you do the things in marketing, your customer lifetime value is very important to understand, because as you pivot your marketing strategy, as you influence your customers to convert on your website or with your app, if you will, or other loyalty programs, whatever you do to keep them engaged with your business, you want to measure that customer lifetime value. You want to increase how much they spend. You want to increase the amount of times they visit. The more you increase how much they spend, the more you increase how often they visit, the more you're going to make, right? And that lifetime value increases as well. That's how you take this metric and do something with it from an analytics perspective. So that's it for tonight, guys. One last thing I'll leave you with is, what other marketing factors do you believe are important to customer lifetime value? Loyalty, reward systems. What other things do you think develop loyalty and lifelong customers? So think about that as you do your reading this week and perhaps discussions and assignment, and just think about that. But other than that, that's all I've got for you. I appreciate your time. I'll see you in week 4. And if you have any questions, please do send me an email. Thank you very much.